It says I'm live. Let me get a few things situated here. Oh, me. Well, I got to get in front of that window there. Whoops. This way. That way. Okay. It leaves the light coming through, gives a streak right across my face if I don't. Yeah. Have to block out the sun there a little bit. Hey, Jamie. How are you? Yeah. Oh, me. Let me get situated here. I got a window back there that's straight in front of me here that will throw an extra little bit of light that I don't need. I hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, I got to get my face fixed in here, don't I? I guess so. Anyway, where are you up north, Jamie? Or are you back in the sunny south again? I know you said you were going to, where was it, Syracuse last week, which definitely wasn't a warm place to be last week. Yeah, I just I hope you're in a warm place. In the south. Good, smart man. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely not a time to be up north right now. Although I think they're warming up a little bit this week, but yeah, they've had a rough winter, I think, so far. Well, it hadn't even today's first day of winter. Today's winter solstice today. So today's first day of winter. Oh, you're back to the Syracuse after the first. Well, maybe you'll get some good weather then. I know it was messy earlier. So it'll maybe it'll warm up on you a little bit, so you won't have to deal with so much bad weather. Weather's been pretty good down here, though. I mean, we've had a couple of cold snaps here and there, but all in all, it's been pretty good. I can't complain. Only thing I can complain, I gotta give me a little bit of Sprite in my. Whoops. I got to keep my head situated so the sun is coming right up over this window, and it just blasts through that window. I need to get a curtain for that window. But let me get me a cold drink here a little bit. Give me a little lubrication for the voice as I'm trying to get started on this Christmas week. Oh, me. I hope everybody's going to have a good Christmas this week. Of course, my family is not a large family. I mean, well, my immediate family. I've got 2 children and 1 grandson. So my family is not greatly large, real big and large like some people's families. I'm just like I say, we're fairly small as far as a family goes. Now I've got 3 brothers. Well, actually, I only have 2 now. I had 1 brother that passed away, and then I've got several cousins. I mean, my mother was there was 4 girls in her family. My dad had a larger family. My dad had there were 9 children in his family. So I have a lot of cousins. And Barbara's family is the same way. Her mother had several sisters and a brother. Hey, Jerome, how are you? Good morning to you also. Yeah. Have another Jones boy in here. Yeah. All of us Jones guys got to stick together, don't we, Jerome? We're probably cousins and don't know it. You got 1991 behind your name. Now, is that your birth year, Jerome? 1991? I assume it is. Of course, now don't assume on mine Mine's 1527, so don't assume that's my birth year on my Gmail. Yeah. Oh, you had a nasty cold last week. Wow. Oh, and truck issues. That's even worse. Yeah, that's bad when it's like that. Yeah, see, 1991. So you were 30. If that's your birth year, that makes you what, 34? Yep, 34 years old. Gosh, it'd be nice to be only 34 in a way. In a way, I say in a way because it's crazy. You enjoy your youth and everything for the physical attributes, but then you enjoy the fact that you're older and you have some intelligence that you didn't have and experiences that you didn't have when you're 34. I mean, that's a difference for me. I mean, I I enjoy the fact of what I've experienced in life. I wouldn't take anything for it, and how I grew and everything into the man I am. Uh, but it would be nice to be physically 34 years old again. Yeah. 37, Chris. Yeah. Yeah. Good morning, James. Good morning, Chris and Jerome, everybody out there. Yeah. At 37 was a good time for me too. Except I, I was about to lose my dad about that time. My dad passed away when I was 38. And I really miss my dad. He's been gone 36 years. I lost him in 1989. And it's been tough. It's been tough ever since. I mean, my, you don't realize how much you love someone like that until you do lose them. And that was a tough thing to do, was lose my dad. I mean, I think about him every day. I think about things he told me every day. So, I wish I could bring him back. Yeah, I tell you that's tough, isn't it, Chris? It's tough to lose your parents. I mean, it really is. I'm glad I've stuck around uh, for my children. I mean, I'm glad I'm at the age I am, and I feel like I'm helpful for my son and my grandson, and I like to think that everything's positive there. I'm glad that I got married young and had children young, so my children could experience my dad. My son was 15 or 16 when my father passed away. You just learned some shocking news about your dad. What was that, James? Let me see if I can find. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to get a Kleenex here. I got a little bit of a. We were talking about a cold a while ago. Jerome talking about his cold, and I'm gonna have to get some tissue because it's live, and I've got a little bit of a runny nose, so I have to correct that. Now, my big adventure is to stay at home, Chris. Yeah, no, there's no big adventures in my life at this point. I don't foresee ever having any big adventures. I'm not planning on going anywhere or going. I I've got 80 something acres of land here. My big adventure for this next year, I've got a guy going in partners with me, and we're going to put some cattle over here on the pasture. And he's a good friend, and I'm going partners with him. One reason is because, like I said, I don't want to get out and chase cows. I don't mind he and I going together. I've got the land. I've got the pasture. I like to have cattle on my land so I don't have to mow all the time and a few things. So I'm going to do that. Yeah. Have I donated to the Harris campaign? I don't think so. I don't think I'm donating to anybody. I'll let political candidates muster up their own money. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. It just. I just hope that we cannot. I hope that the Congress and the Senate does not get flipped around like it does so many times on the off years. That we have the turmoil. Oh, good gracious! I knocked over my drink here, guys. Hold on a second. I just made a mess. And I'm gonna have to clean it up as we talk here. I knocked my Sprite over. I turned around and I've got to clean this up right quick because I will make a bigger mess if I don't. So you're seeing this on live TV. I don't want this to get all over my electronic stuff. So I've got to clean up. I've got to clean up my mess right quick. I turned right around and hit my drink. I turned around, hit my drink, and knocked it over for a few seconds. Luckily, I caught it, but I've got to get this off of my. I can't get that down into my electronic equipment. I got a lot of electronic equipment over here, and moisture and electronics do not go together. That is for sure. So I am having to clean that up right quick. So just bear with me. Bear with me right there because I can't have that. I can't have that tearing up things right quick. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd be too old. I'd be like the other candidates out there. I put myself out there as too old. In 28, and see, in 2028, I'll be 77. And that's, to me, I don't want another president at 77 years old. I don't mind some of the experience, but I don't want a 77-year-old president. I mean, we saw what happened with Joe Biden, which was little or nothing. And, you know, I don't want a president being run by a committee. Now, Trump's doing good as far as his age and his ability, but that in a way that's rare. To see somebody 77 that's been that sharp. Now I'm still sharp. I still feel like I have all my faculties, and I still try to do everything on a daily basis. You know, like I said, I'll be 75 this year, and I still feel sharp. I mean, I still feel like I have energy like Trump does, and I'm not interested in anything that would tax me like that. I mean, you can see yourself slowing down when you get older. And I see myself, I wish I could get around like I could when I was 35. I wish I could, climb in and out of my tractors and things like that. Hey, Joy. Yeah. Well, that cheese, all that Italian food, that keeps you going, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I try to stay sharp. I mean, I do things. I don't. I mean, I try to come up with some new things all the time to keep me intrigued. I mean, I haven't even told anybody about it. I'm doing a lot of 3D printing right now, and my son is helping me with that. And my grandson, I'm trying to get him to teach me on Fusion 360. And I'm even thinking about going back and taking a college course. So I try to stay active, and I try to stay busy and keep myself sharp. I mean, that's my goal, is to stay sharp, stay active, and stay involved all the way until I'm no longer here. I mean, I'm definitely not going to retire my mind or retire my body completely. Now, your body, it gets, I mean, like mine, I've had, health issues in the past 5 or 6 years that have been traumatic to me in a way. Having a quadruple bypass, that was not a fun thing. But it saved my life. I mean, had I not had that, I probably wouldn't be here right now. And I have so many of my high school classmates that are no longer with me right now. I mean, out of my high school class, I mean, we only had a class of 109 students, I think. And out of that 109, we've already lost about 40 out of my class. So, a good third of my class is already gone. And that's what you have to, unfortunately look forward to. You'll see that. And yeah, well, I mean, that's, my wife and I were discussing knees and joints. I mean, right now, I mean, other than having a little bit of arthritic pain in my fingers, I'm doing pretty good. I don't have it in my arms and my legs and my knees, knock on wood. And I just have, normal aches and pains, but my knees and my hips and my ankles and everything like that are in good shape. So mobility has not cropped up as a problem yet. Although I do find myself slower as far as I used to love to run. I used to love to, get out and kind of walk and jog and jump around on this and that and the other. And like I said, in my younger days, I used to be what they called a yard switcher at Carolina Freight. And I was, forever jumping in and out of a truck. And I'm talking about a cab over truck. I mean, we had cab over trucks, and I was forever. I would just grab the handle, swing out, and wouldn't even jump down, wouldn't even step down on the steps. I would just grab the handle on the side of the truck and swing off and just drop down because I was young. I was, started doing that when I was 18, 19 years old. And, for years I did that and didn't realize I was jamming my knees up. But, we do stupid things like that. Who would be a 30-ish-year-old? Well, I mean, JD Vance is only in his 40s. I mean, you have to be 36 to be a presidential candidate anyway. I mean, you have to be 36, almost 40, Yeah, I think JD Vance is very articulate. And I hope that he makes a good president. That's my hope right now. I mean, him and I like the staff that, I mean, I think that's what makes Trump strong right now is his staff of people. I mean, I like everybody on his staff, from all the way down to, I like Homeland Security. I like, I think the weakest one at this point, in my opinion, is Pam Bondi. I mean, I have issues with her a little bit. I don't know. I'm hot and cold on the way I feel about her sometimes. And Marco is sharp. I do agree with that, Jamie. Marco Rubio is very sharp. Marco says right now that if JD runs, he won't run. And I feel good about that because I would hate to have those two battling for the top spot. Now, I feel like there'll be other people that come out of the woodwork that want to run, but I like JD Vance. I used to like Ron DeSantis. I used to think he would be good, but Ron DeSantis is not as strong. He does not attack like J.D. Vance does. I mean, I think he would be a good running mate for him. I think Ron DeSantis would be a good running mate with J.D. Vance, and I think he would be a good successor after that. But I don't think that JD. I think JD Vance is he's got that kill button to him like Trump does, that can get jobs done. He can get it done, and he can make a decision and stick with it. And I like that. Yeah, well, JD Vance came from a rough. I mean, if you want to see a program about him, that hillbilly, whatever it is, allergy or what, I watched that movie, and which depicted his home life and the struggles he had to go through, and that was rough. He came up as poor, backwards, and rough as anybody in the world could, and to get to where he is, and to be as articulate as he is, and everything he's done, I'm very proud of him. Now he depicts exactly what you want to say, pulling yourself up from your bootstraps. I mean, his mother was a drug addict. His grandmother and grandfather, they were rough old people too. His whole family background, I mean, from West Virginia to Ohio, was about as countrified and rough as it could be. I mean, rougher than my family. And I got some rough ones in my family from Tennessee and South Carolina and Western North Carolina. I got some rough ones in my family heritage, but I don't think it's anywhere close to what J.D. Vance had. I mean, J.D. Vance had some tough ones, and but I mean, I like the fact that he's taken on what he's taken on in his life, and he has put himself together and done really well for himself. Yeah, yeah. If you can see it on Netflix, catch it. That is one. Uh, and the crazy thing about it was produced by Ron Howard, and Ron Howard now kind of regrets doing it because he self promoted J.D. Vance, and him a tough liberal. Ron Howard being he's a ultra strong liberal, and I think now that he regrets the fact that he promoted J.D. Vance, and it showed how much trouble he went through and everything. But so it's sort of crazy. But if you get a chance to see that one about J.D. Vance, hillbilly something, I can't remember. I watched the movie, gosh, several years ago, and like I said, it was on Netflix or something. I mean, it's got great actors in it. I mean, it has not Meryl Streep, it has Glenn Close. Glenn Close, but gosh, she looks rough in there as his grandmother, and she regrets doing the movie now because of the fact that J.D. Vance, and she's ultra liberal, and she hates that she did it because of the fact that it helps self promote J.D. Vance. So all these liberals kind of that movie kind of bit them in the butt because of that. And I do like the fact that his grandfather in the movie was a good old boy from South Carolina. And I mean, it came from South Carolina. I can't think of his name now. He passed away a couple of years ago. He used to be on Dallas, and he used to be on, he was in American Graffiti. I'm trying to think of his name as a young punk and everything. But yeah, Elegy. Yeah, Hillbilly Elegy. Yeah. But I'm trying to think of that guy's Bo. Started Bo something. Gosh, what was his last name? But he was a good old boy that originally grew up in South Carolina, and so I mean he had the Southern roots. He wasn't faking his Southern roots like so many people do. I always get tickled at watching people trying to depict Southern roots and they're not Southern. I mean, I don't have to depict anything. I am a Southerner. Bo Hopkins. That's exactly right. You're exactly that's the guy I was talking about. That was his granddad, and Bo Hopkins was born somewhere I think close to Anderson, South Carolina, something like that. But a good old Southern boy, and I've always liked Bo Hopkins. And as he came up, like I said, he was in American Graffiti with Ron Howard, as a matter of fact. He was in there, and he was one of the tough guys in American Graffiti, one of the rough leathernecks or whatever, or not leathernecks, I guess you kind of greasers or whatever in that movie, and then he was also on Dallas, the TV series Dallas, as a old man or whatever, and a couple of other things. I think he's been on Dynasty, Dallas, whatever, all those kind of stuff. But Bo Hopkins, always liked him as an actor. But anyway, that he was the grandfather on that series, on that show, and it's sort of bad. Like I said, he died right after that. I think that was probably his last big movie that he was in. Greenville native. Okay. Well, yeah, Greenville, Greenwood, Anderson. That's all the same area. Yeah, that's the area of Greenville, South Carolina. When I say Anderson, I mean I don't know exactly where he lived down there, but that's the general area. Like you're saying up here for me, you'd call me the Charlotte area of North Carolina. Oh, he was born in Greenville, was he? Okay. All right, y'all guys are checking that out. Yeah. But he's a good old Southern boy. I mean, like I said, I'm glad I've always followed his career as he was growing up and going through things. I always liked him. Good, tough. And I knew people that he depicted exactly how I knew a lot of people in South Carolina. I knew some people that reminded me of him to a T. No, he passed away. Bo Hopkins, he died about 3 years ago, I think. I know I think it's sometime right after that movie. 2022. Okay. All right. Yep. Yeah. I knew it was something like that. I remember when he passed because I thought, oh man, I hate that because I liked him as an actor and everything. Yeah. Well, you're getting the Midwestern accent now, I guess, Chris. But yeah, anytime that I've traveled across the United States, a lot of people, they pick up on my accent, but a lot of people say, "Where are you from?" Texas. I get Texas and I get Georgia. People say, "Are you from Georgia?" No, I'm not. I'm from North Carolina. And but when they hear my accent, they think, Texas or Georgia. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, you'll do that now. That is one thing. As you migrate from one area to another, you'll pick up the terminology real quick, and terminology is as much as the accent. I think for a lot of people, because somebody in the eastern part of the state of North Carolina, their terminology is probably a lot different than the western part of North Carolina, and so on and so on. And you get people in the northern part of, if you get the northeastern part of North Carolina, you get an entirely different sounding accent. I mean, it's sort of like if you're familiar with NASCAR, the Burton brothers, Jeb Burton, and they 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 sound entirely different because one of them was raised at his grandfather's and the other at home. Yep, yep, and you'll get that. So, a lot of people they'll do that and they say you want a pop, and to me, I don't. Yeah, I around here we say Coke. I mean, you can say you want a Coke, and you can mean any flavor of a fountain drink or whatever, but you call it Coke, and it could be a Pepsi, but you'd call it you want a Coke, and that's the way that's the way that's that name is almost generic as a soft drink, and then like I say, and you get in some areas and they'll use pop. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah. You'll get in certain areas though, like I say, and they'll say pop instead of soda, or I mean, or you'll and you know it's sort of funny if you watch Back to the Future, you can see how terminology has changed, and that and they they depict that in the movie Back to the Future, how just decades starts changing. I mean, something that we said back in the 50s won't apply to something that's said here in 2025. Uh, you know, 60, 70 years later, and you look at your grandparents or parents, and they will say things differently. My grandmother used to say things that used to drive me crazy, and and she used to say, what was it? Um, earn. You think like EARN, earn, like you earn something, but she didn't mean earn. She used earn like hours. She said that's instead of saying that's ours, she would say that's ours. And they used to drive me crazy. And I used to make fun of her about that. Hey, Patrick, how are you? Well, I want to wish you a happy and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and everything. I want to do that to everybody out there while I've got a little bit of an audience. Just say Merry Christmas to everybody because I hope it's going to be a good one for everybody. Yeah, yeah, the pig and the poke. Well, the pig and the poke is self-explanatory. As you, if you were out farming and you had to go out and get a pig and you put him in a sack to carry him home or something, a small piglet, not a big pig, but a small one. And that was the old saying, you got a pig and a poke. And but yeah, I heard that a lot too. We don't use that expression much, but it was derived from actually getting a small piglet and you put him in a sack or poke, and that's I remember hearing that too a lot, and you don't hear that expression much anymore. Yeah, burlap sack. Yeah, that's poke. Yeah, or one like a fertilizer bag. It could be a poke. You know, any of that. Yeah, yeah. Any heavy duty. A poke was a heavy duty bag, and yeah, that's what you know. There was a lot of variations of that. But yeah, the pig and the poke. That's where that came from, and it didn't bother me when I was young because I knew what they were talking about, and uh, and that's like the expression you didn't have a pot to pee in, and that expression came from the Depression era. Whereas, and I read about this. and salt. I was reading about a thing that came. If you're so poor that you didn't have a pot to pee in, came from the fact that people used to sell their urine to leather makers because they used urine to, soften up the leather. So you could sell your urine to those people. And if you were so poor that you couldn't even afford the pot that you could pee in, to take it to the leather man so you could get a few pennies for that. That's how poor you were. Urea, yeah. And that's what they used to, tan leather and everything. But that's where that saying came from, is that you were so poor that you didn't have a pot to pee in. And so uh, so that's an actual derivative of an actual uh, hard time when people were in the Depression era and everything else. That sort of came out as you don't have a pot to pee in. But that's crazy. But I mean, I like the fact that when you study these things and you try to find the derivative of these old sayings. And see, that's how I use my mind sometimes, guys. I use, we're talking about old age and everything a while ago, and I try to be well read. I like to read a lot. I read a lot on the computer. I go to different sites. I try to stay informed, and I love technology. I mean, I'm an old guy that loves technology. A lot of guys my age don't want anything to do with technology, other than maybe their cell phone. But there's so many things that lead up to that I think is fantastic. I mean, I'm sitting here in a studio right now that I like it, and it's a lot of people think it's complicated, but it's not. And I love my little studio here that I have that I can do my audios and videos, and I do my DJ show and things like that because uh, I think it keeps my mind going. I mean, I that's one reason that I do the radio show, because I think it keeps me involved. And the same reason I do my podcast here too. I think it keeps me involved, and uh, I think it keeps me stimulated. And everybody needs a stimulus. Whereas, like I said, I'm this next year I'm gonna do some physical stimulus, and I'm gonna try to improve my farm by putting my cattle and everything out there. And like I said, I got a great friend. He's got a farm, and he's got a lot of calves that are getting ready to drop, and we're going to move a lot of his cattle over to my pasture right now because he's about to run out of pasture, and that kind of stuff. But life is short, and I feel like maximizing every minute that I have. I mean, I don't want to. No, I didn't. I didn't really spray this year. I mowed everything real good. I didn't spray because of the fact that uh, I've got so much. I mean, I probably will this next year, Chris, but and probably around the fence line. And Rodney, that's the boy that's helping me. We're talking about getting spraying good around the fence line, so we don't have any of the weeds coming up and hitting the electric fence and things. But I didn't spray this past year. I mean, I did good to mow everything this past year, and but I'm glad I did that, and I've got all that looking good now and operating good. I had to fix my bush hog. I tore a gear up in my bush hog, and I was able to get a new gear for it, and it's cutting real good now. I think I had some slippage and didn't know it. No, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that, James. And I don't doubt some of that is happening. Yeah. Well, I probably I try to not let I try not to let too much accumulate. I mean, I have to weed eat around some things too, but I try not to let my equipment get overgrown like with grass. I try to get out there and move enough to and keep it under sheds and everything else. Well, I mean, you hear that from everybody, but I hope that we get uh, our food line, our food line, not food line, the chain. I hope we get our food products in order. I think with Kennedy, he is shaking up the food products situation and drugs, and I'm glad of that. I think he's doing a good job. I mean, we've had the FDA and all these other agencies. We've had people where they were getting kickbacks and everything else, and letting too much go on with our food stuff. And I really believe that our food chain has been compromised because of the fact that we have got so many autistic children. We have got so many, we're over vaccinated in so many ways that our drug and our food chain has been compromised, and we need to get back in order. And I think Kennedy is actually jumped in there and straightening a lot of that out. Now, a lot of people like him, a lot of people don't, but I think he's doing a good job. I mean, I was for what he was wanting to do before he ran for president, before he did anything. I thought he had some good ideas. A lot of people didn't. A lot of people thought he was kooky. And usually the ones that want to paint him as kooky are the ones that were probably getting kickbacks or something. Well, guys, I'm going to have to get off of here. The wife has got me a lot of things to do today. I want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll see you before the new year, hopefully. I hope everybody has a great Christmas. Get out there and have a good time with your family, because family and Christmas are what it's all about. So y'all have a great Christmas. I'll see y'all out here later, and y'all take care, and I'll catch you then. See you guys.